Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and we are going to celebrate Christmas because we can do that all year. So here is another Christmas card for our upcoming holidays. And we are going to work with the stamp set Art Impressions. I've had it for a while, and it's called the Christmas Village TriFold. There are no dies with this. Now, what's pretty cool with the stamp set is on the back, you get your different stamps, of course, and of course they're rubber because rubber stamps are awesome. But they actually give you step-by-step instructions on how you can construct this card. How you stamp it, where you'll stamp, where you score, and then where finally you cut in certain areas. So I thought that was just ingenious, kind of, sort of. I'm going to use my stamp positioner, and we're going to start with the front or the center panel of the card. So this is a trifold. So you've got your center panel, and then you've got your left and your right panel that are going to fold in on top of that. So they tell you how far to have the stamp down within this panel. I'm going to use my VersaFine black ink because we are going to use our Tombow Watercolor Markers. I haven't used those in a while, so I dusted them off, and I have a little bit of water and a brush, and we are just going to have fun moving those colors around. You then want to turn your piece over, and you want to make sure that the image is still upright on the other side, but you want to remember what side is folding in. So I've got here the snowman with the light post, and that was not the right side. It needed to go to the right side after you flipped it. Yeah, this is going to be very confusing, and I apologize. So remember, we've taken our first stamp, we've set that down into the stamp positioning tool, and we're stamping the snowman with the lantern on the right-hand side. Because when we turn the piece back over with our center panel facing us and we flip that left side over, that's where the snowman and the lantern is going to be. See what I'm saying? Basically, what you're doing with these two stamps that are going on the side, you can see the tall portion of the stamp. In the snowman case, it's the lantern. In this case, with the chair, it's the trees. You want those areas next to your score lines. Again, making sure that everything, when you flip this, turn it to the left, your images are still facing in the same direction. You don't want to flip it from the bottom to turn it up. So I know that's very confusing, and I apologize, but you can see there's our center piece, and then when we fold those two sides in, those pieces will be there as well. Now I'm going to take the time to stamp our sentiment towards the bottom of the image within our center. And then all of our stamping is done. We're going to let that dry for a little bit. I'm going to zoom in. And also I'm going to do, I chose some colors of my markers, and I'm going to, in a sketchy, I'm going to color these in sketchy. Sketchily? Sketch. Very loose. I don't know what we want to call this. But you can see I'm not, some areas, yes, I'm coloring them in, but I'm kind of following the guideline, that look of how Art Impressions had that watercolor. And that's something that I do enjoy when it comes to Art Impressions. Watercoloring does not have to be intricate. It's to be loose, it flows, have fun. you know, with these watercolors. Now, we did not heat emboss any of these images. So any water that you add or anything like that, you don't want a lot of water. So we very much want to control it. Because again, these colors, they're going to run. The paper that I am using, I apologize, I did not say that in the beginning, is Canson XL watercolor paper. I do enjoy this watercolor paper. I like the way the watercolors bloom and just look on this type of cardstock for watercolors. Here I have my brush. I'm going to add water to it, but you can see I have a piece of paper towel next to me. I am making sure to take a lot of that water out of my brush. I'm not leaving it dripping. I just want to move these colors, and I'm staying with each of the colors. You can see the kitchen towel that as I move across, I'm even taking some of the pigment off when I feel I've got a lot there as I move from color to color. And you can see that dropping down. When I see that I've got too much water or it may bleed, I'm dabbing off onto that kitchen towel. I want to make sure that this is dry because I'm going to flip this over. So you saw how I flipped that. It's like turning a book page. So everything is still standing upright. And we're going to do the same thing. Again, very sketcherly, very light. You know, again, we're not coloring our images in. And for me, I believe that's the key to watercolor pens. You don't need to color in your whole image. You can see how I'm doing the bow. The more color you add, the darker your color will be. So you can see with the bow, I didn't color anything in. You can see with the lantern, I'm not coloring every part in. Same thing with the wreath. It's very loose. It's very kind of all over the place. Even with the scarf and the hat, I only colored one side because I'm going to pull that color over. You'll see with the trees, when I add the green, I don't go all the way up to the top. I want it to look like snow. So I'm only going towards the bottom of them so that I can leave that area white, which will give and provide that illusion of snow. And again, hope that makes sense. Yeet. Coming in just with all of these colors. And then once I have all of my colors down, then I'll be able to go back in with my brush and just move them around. Just let them shift and do what they want to do. But again, controlling the water, because we don't have that border, that boundary of the embossed lime. We're going to do the same thing. We're taking a lot of that water out of the brush, but it's damp. So it's going to move these colors. Even though I've sped this up, you can see that I'm holding that brush there for a little bit after I come out of the water, just to make sure that that's off. As I'm moving this blue from the hat and scarf, you can see how much is going onto the paper towel. Same thing with the green. So water control is key, at least I feel, for watercolor pens. They can do beautiful things. You can mix them, you can layer them. They're just not going to work like your typical watercolor tube or pan. They work just a little bit differently. Watercolor pens are also different than a watercolor pencil. And again, these are all my opinions. I do like watercolor pens with colored pencils. You can add watercolor pencils on top. And you can use a watercolor pen like a watercolor. You would just need a palette so that you can scribble some of the color down and then pick it up with your brush and your water, and you'd be able to use it that way as well. So they are versatile when using them. Okay, let's get back to our card there. So we finished all of our watercoloring. We made sure that it's dry. We did let it dry on its own so that we didn't warp too much. And the directions within this stamp set actually tells you, okay, from this height here, you want to start cutting, and you're going to fussy cut around your images. Once you get to a certain point on the image, you're going to go straight across to the score line and then cut right up the score line. So this is kind of really ingenious. No dies, which really makes me think, okay, if we dig into our stash with some images, what could we come up with? No dies. We just need to fussy cut. Now, I did find fussy cutting the snowman and lantern easier because, again, of the direction. I'm right-handed. So coming with the trees and the bench, yeah, that one was just a little bit. So when it came to the score line, I came up from the score line. Now, as we fold our pieces in, I'm making sure the bottoms are even and flat. I'm using my paper creaser to make sure those folds are well established. And I think this is absolutely adorable. But the directions were very clear. They were easy. I did not get confused. I'm just saying, because I can. I absolutely can. I do want to add a closure to this, though, because why not? So I'm taking some of my organza ribbon, and I'm going to create a little tiny, like a mini belly band. And I'm just going to trim this piece of watercolor paper down, and I'm going to glue the top of the bottom, and I'm going to thread the ribbon through so that it has a place to hold. And keep the ribbon there so that when the recipient gets this and they untie it, the ribbon will still stay added to the card. To get it through that piece, I'm just putting my paper creaser through it, pushing the top back down when it popped off, and then bringing this around and tying a bow. And then that will just keep this closed. Now you can also put this on top of a standard A2 size card base because this is just a little bit smaller than an A2 size. So this will fit perfectly on there if you wanted to. And then that will trap the ribbon back there as well. So you can have two different style of openings when it comes to your card. So as I said, instructions were great, very clear. I think this is unique, gave me lots of thoughts for what's already in our stash. We can create our own tri-fold scenes or two-fold type scenes, which I think will be absolutely terrific. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below. And the stamp set that I used, I will have just listed down below if you wanted to look at that. Make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have you here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and ring the bell so that you know when the next video is live. We are at card 5 in our Christmas all year series, which I think is great. I didn't do one in January. That just means I'll do more in December. Absolutely. Remember, enjoy the process. Just have fun with it. Try something new, try something different, but never give up. Never throw it away. Just keep working at it. If you have to, step away. Just have fun creating your art. And most of all, remember, always be creative in everything you do every day. Continue to stay safe and healthy. And I will talk to you in the next one. But until then, take care.